Long before pyramids pierced the sky, and long before the names of pharaohs were carved into stone, there was a figure who walked silently between the world of the living and the world of the dead. In the flicker of torchlight inside ancient tombs, in the desert wind that moved across burial grounds, in the sacred rituals whispered by priests, there was always one presence watching. His name was Anubis. To modern eyes, he appears intimidating, a tall, dark figure with the head of a jackal and the body of a man. But to the ancient Egyptians, Anubis was not a symbol of evil. He was protection. He was guidance. He was the guardian of one of the greatest mysteries of all, what happens after death. The image of Anubis with a jackal's head was not chosen at random. In ancient Egypt, jackals were often seen wandering near cemeteries and desert burial sites. They were creatures of the borderlands, moving between civilization and the wild, between life and decay. Instead of fearing them, the Egyptians transformed that image into something powerful. If jackals roamed the tombs, then the god who protected tombs would take the form of a jackal, stronger, divine, and commanding. Anubis became the watcher of graves, the protector of bodies, the silent sentinel who ensured that the dead would not be disturbed by thieves, animals, or chaos. But Anubis was more than a guardian of tombs. In the earliest periods of Egyptian history, before Osiris rose to prominence, Anubis himself was considered the primary god of the dead. He was the lord of the necropolis, ruler of the silent lands where souls journeyed after their final breath. Over time, as religious beliefs evolved, Osiris became the king of the underworld. Yet Anubis did not disappear. His role shifted. Instead of ruling the dead, he guided them. And perhaps that role was even more powerful. When an Egyptian died, the journey was not immediate. It was not simple. The soul had to travel through the Duat, the Egyptian underworld, a realm filled with trials, guardians, and cosmic tests. The dead were not abandoned to wander alone. Anubis walked beside them. He was known as the opener of the ways. He cleared the path for souls. He led them safely through darkness. One of the most iconic moments in Egyptian mythology is the weighing of the heart ceremony. This was not just a symbolic act, it was the ultimate judgment. In the Hall of Ma'at, the goddess of truth and balance, the heart of the deceased was placed on one side of a scale. On the other side rested the feather of Ma'at, the symbol of truth, justice, and cosmic order. It was Anubis who carefully adjusted the scales. Anubis who watched with unwavering precision. Anubis who ensured fairness. If the heart was lighter than or equal to the feather, the soul was pure and worthy of entering the field of reeds, the Egyptian paradise. But if the heart was heavy with wrongdoing, it would be devoured by Amit, the terrifying creature known as the devourer of the dead. Anubis did not decide the verdict. That was Osiris's role. But Anubis ensured that the process was just. He was impartial, calm, exact. He was the balance between chaos and order. There is something deeply symbolic in the fact that Anubis handled the heart. In Egyptian belief, the heart was not just an organ, it was the seat of intelligence, emotion, and morality. It contained the truth of a person's life. Anubis was not weighing flesh, he was weighing truth itself. Another fascinating aspect of Anubis is his connection to mummification. The Egyptians believed that preserving the body was essential for the soul's journey. Without the body, the spirit could not fully transition into the afterlife. This sacred process required precision, knowledge, and ritual power. Anubis was the patron god of embalmers. Priests who performed mummification ceremonies often wore jackal masks to symbolize Anubis's presence. They invoked his protection during the wrapping of the body, the removal of organs, and the sealing of the tomb. Every step was sacred, every gesture was performed under his watch. There is even a powerful myth that deepened Anubis's role in funerary rites. When Osiris was murdered and dismembered by his brother Set, it was Anubis who helped Isis gather the scattered pieces of Osiris's body. It was Anubis who assisted in the first act of mummification, preparing Osiris for resurrection. In doing so, Anubis became forever associated with the preservation of life beyond death. In a way, Anubis did not just guard the dead, he prepared them for rebirth. The color black, often used to depict Anubis, carries profound symbolism. It was not meant to represent darkness or evil. In ancient Egypt, black symbolized fertility and renewal. The soil left behind by the Nile's floods was black and rich, bringing life to the land. Black was the color of regeneration. By painting Anubis black, the Egyptians were not emphasizing death, they were emphasizing transformation. Death was not an ending in Egyptian belief, it was a transition. Anubis stood at that threshold. His origins are layered and mysterious. In many versions of the myth, Anubis is said to be the son of Osiris and Nephthys. According to legend, Nephthys disguised herself as Isis and seduced Osiris, resulting in Anubis's birth. To protect the child from Set's wrath, he was hidden and later raised under divine protection. This complex parentage places Anubis in a unique position, connected to both betrayal and protection, secrecy and loyalty. He becomes the silent guardian of a divine family torn apart by jealousy and violence. And yet, unlike many gods of death in other cultures, Anubis was never portrayed as cruel or malicious. He was not the executioner. He was the guide. He did not hunt souls. He escorted them. Even in artistic depictions, Anubis often appears calm, composed, almost solemn. He stands beside the scales, he oversees the mummy, he leads the deceased by the hand. There is dignity in his presence. Over centuries, as Egyptian religion evolved, Anubis's role blended with other deities. In some traditions, he merged with aspects of Osiris. In others, he remained distinct, honored in temples and tombs across the land. His cult center was located in Sinopolis, literally City of the Dog, where he was especially revered. What makes Anubis particularly fascinating is how misunderstood he often is today. Modern interpretations frequently associate dark figures with evil, but in ancient Egypt, darkness was sacred. The night sky was where stars were born. The underworld was a realm of transformation. The tomb was not a prison, it was a gateway. Anubis embodied that philosophy. He was the god who ensured that death was not chaos, but order. He stood between fear and peace. He ensured that justice prevailed beyond the grave. In the grand architecture of Egyptian belief, Anubis was the stabilizer. Without him, the transition between life and death would be unprotected. Without him, tombs would be vulnerable. Without him, the weighing of the heart would lack fairness. He was the quiet necessity. Even today, thousands of years later, the image of Anubis endures. His silhouette against desert sands, his black form illuminated by torchlight, his steady hand upon the scales of eternity. He represents one of humanity's oldest questions: what lies beyond? But more than that, he represents how a civilization chose to answer it, not with fear, but with structure, not with terror, but with guidance. Anubis reminds us that death, in the Egyptian worldview, was not the ultimate enemy. Disorder was, and he was the guardian against disorder. He did not roar like a war god. He did not blaze like a sun god. He did not command storms or seas. He watched, he measured, he protected. In the silence of ancient tombs, beneath painted ceilings of stars, beside hieroglyphs that whisper prayers for safe passage, Anubis remains eternal, the jackal-headed god, the weigher of hearts, the protector of the dead, not a monster of darkness, but a guardian of balance. And in the vast mythology of Egypt, where gods ruled the sky and the sun sailed across heaven, it was Anubis who ensured that even in death there was justice, dignity, and the promise of renewal.